Welcome back to another episode of the Ark Survival Guide. We are here in the volcanic area. This is a beautiful black volcano beach here. Tropical paradise, aside from the dangerous giant bugs that are absolutely everywhere. Feels a little bit more like a Godzilla movie. So, today we are going to be taming dung beetles. So, this episode will be full of poop, if you will. But if you don't like that or you're not into giant bugs, this might not be the best episode for you. But these little guys are going to be a total game changer for us, and they will help us to create tons of fertilizer and oil to make a self-sustaining organic battle fortress. So they will be totally worth grabbing some of these guys. So to tame a dung beetle, it is a passive tame, kind of like what we tame the dolphin. You have to put some dino poop in the last slot of your inventory, just like with the dolphin. And then you just feed them just like a dolphin, except they're really slow. They don't run off. They don't just say goodbye and thanks for all the fish and disappear. But the only thing that makes them hard to tame, they would be really easy if they didn't live in these giant bug-infested, extremely dangerous volcanic areas. So you can't really find them anywhere safe and easy to get to. But once we find one, and once we get the predators that will just viciously kill us out of the way, we should be in great shape. So before we tame them, I'm going to have to put some dino feces in the last slot of my inventory. It's best to use medium or large because they tame up faster with using the larger poop, because they like that a lot better. And you want to be really careful which slot you put it in, that you don't accidentally use that slot. I have definitely accidentally thought I was using my meat, which is in the slot to the left D-pad, and accidentally hit right on the D-pad and ate poop and died. So be careful of that. That is a definite real challenge when you're taming beetles. It's kind of like this time in real life that I was at a movie theater and my mom got us like small little cups of a soda so we could split up a big soda that she got. And I really liked jalapeno juice with my popcorn, so I got one small cup of jalapeno juice so I could dip the popcorn in it and one cup of soda. Halfway through the movie, I forgot which was which and took a big swig of jalapeno juice and quickly remembered which cup was which. Oh, there is a Saber-Tooth Tiger. So I am going to try to get this guy to chase me away from the dung beetle, because if that thing attacks me, I'll probably die. These things are vicious and fast. They can do a lot of damage to you, and they can catch up to you really quickly. So I'm going to just kite him away, get him to chase me down the slope, and he's hopefully lost interest in me since I got so high up. So usually if you stay close to a predator, down close to the ground, they'll keep chasing you. But once you get high up in the air, you can actually break the range of them where they'll lose interest. So I'm going to stay on my Pteranodon because you never know when something dangerous is going to pop up and attack you here. And I use the triangle button to feed him some feces, but he's not hungry anymore. Just like the dolphins, he's lost interest. I always try to get up in the air while I'm adding stuff to my inventory slots, just to make sure nothing attacks me while I'm doing that, because I'm totally vulnerable while I have my menu up. So let's see if I can get down here and get him to eat again. It takes him a little while to get where they need food. Oh, there we go. Gosh, I can't cancel, so I'm just going to name him G for now. It's the fastest thing I can get to. And you can actually use triangle to pick up a dung beetle, and you can mount onto your mount with that dung beetle in your hand. So I'm actually carrying him on my Pteranodon. Thank goodness, right? Because if I had to get him to follow me all the way down these slopes, I would be toast. There's no way he would make it down here safely. I'm going to speed this up a little bit just because the Pteranodon flies so slow. You can see there's a Carnotaur and a bunch of giant centipedes. They're like arthropoluras or something like that. Really dangerous. They shoot acid pretty far, so they can kill you and mess you up really quickly, even if you're not that close to them. So I'm going to hop from rock to rock, and oh, there's some obsidian on this rock, but I don't dare drop this dung beetle because he's really helpful. I definitely want to keep him and not risk losing him. And there's a lot of mantis down here, mantis will actually jump up in the air, like maybe 20 feet or so, and they can actually hit you when you're pretty far up in the air. So you can die pretty quickly that way. I also am dehydrated. You can see a lot of times when I'm up on the volcano, you'll see there's like a big fire icon in the bottom right. That's because it's really hot, so I'm running out of water fast. So I'm going to pick up this dung beetle. These things just wander around, get stuck in all over the place. But you've got to constantly, if you're on a raft like this, you've got to constantly pick them up and drop them. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to build a cage for our dung beetle. So I took a minute off screen to craft a bunch of ceiling tiles and some thatch doorways. And we're actually just going to build a really big cage for these beetles to run around in. So I think that should be a big enough ceiling. I've had this area in my base just open for a while, but the idea was I would build a second floor when I needed some extra stuff in here. So now is that time. So the reason I'm using thatch door frames is they're really cheap and easy to make a big cage for these guys. And once again, Arc Logic, the beetle is it's small enough to fit through the doorway if I'm carrying it, but as soon as I drop it into a place that's in the doorway, it can't fit through on its own. I guess it, spreads its legs out, crawls, and can't quite fit through there. So this will be a lot easier than building a lot of other ways to store these guys. You need a couple of wooden railings to get high enough for a beetle not to get through, but it just gets kind of awkward when you're dealing with that. Thatch doorways are just real cheap and easy. I cannot climb a ladder with a beetle in my hands, so I'm just going to jump and double tap at the very peak of my jump to toss him up onto the second floor. And I'm double tapping triangle again to drop him on the ground. So you can see right here, I'm actually got some levels already on this guy. I'm going to increase his weight because that is the only stat that's really helpful for a dung beetle. The more weight they have, the more dung they can carry in their inventory. So when they have a really high weight, I can just keep putting lots of dino feces in their inventory and they'll just keep going through it. And why is he outside? Come on, man. I definitely... Whoop, that's a dead dolphin. Okay. I always freak out when I see something that looks like a shark, especially when I'm on my Doedicurus. This is a precious commodity here, and if you remember back in the day, he was crazy hard to tame. We almost lost him and died and all that good stuff, so had to fight a T-Rex for him. So, yeah, always check your dinos on your raft to make sure they're still in there, because every now and then they'll just glitch through the walls and land in the water. So I moved the raft a little closer to this lava flow, and right here we have another dung beetle just sitting out in the open. I was just talking about how hard they are to find in a safe area and how usually you're gonna, risk dying by taming one. Here's one just sitting out in the open. Oh, and he tamed up after just one triangle, just one punching a triangle button, and now he is our friend. So great. We'll bring him back onto the base and drop him in the cage too. So I am going to try to get 4 dung beetles in total because that should be more than enough to keep me supplied with fertilizer. So I've actually been running out of fertilizer for my plants and they've started dying off. And you'll see this guy just starts wandering and almost jumps into the fire that I've got going there. So they will definitely die in a fire if you let them do that. So now that I've got 2 of these guys, I'm going to access behavior and enable wandering. I'm also going to use my circle button, triangle lets you go into this access behavior menu. And enabling wandering will allow them to actually create dung. They only create it while they're wandering. They only create fertilizer while they're wandering. And if they are immobilized by being overweight, whoa, there's some mantis trying to eat me. Oh yeah, I'm gonna stay away from those guys. Oh, yes, see, that's what I'm talking about. They can hit you even when you're way up in the air because mantis are crazy in this game and in real life. If we had giant mantis in real life, we would all die. Just saying. Those things are nuts. So, With a dung beetle, it has to be on wander in order to create fertilizer. It has to have dung in its inventory, and if you make it overweight to where it can't move, it will not produce any fertilizer. Every 15 minutes, a dung beetle it'll convert one stack of poop into fertilizer. But if you have one medium feces, one small feces, and one large feces all in the dung beetle, it will convert all three of those different types into one fertilizer each and one oil each. And it'll do that every 15 minutes. Whoa, this spider looks like he's going to kill my dung beetle. Don't touch him. Nope, 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 nope. Okay, that was close. We hit that sucker just before he ate our dung beetle. And this one is a really nice yellow color. I love the color on this guy, so I am going to try to tame him. And we'll see if we can tame two of these guys at once. And I forgot I used up the stuff in that slot, so I'm going to put one in the other slot here. I usually try to keep at least 3 or 4. Oh, and there's some plant species X just hanging out here. That'll be another spot to get that. Great, that was another low-level one that tamed up after just one stack of that stuff. So I'm going to get him back to base and see if I can get back here for the other one before it loses its taming gauge. So this is going pretty darn well for that guy. I mean, cannot complain there. And this will be Dung Beetle number 3. So these things produce lots of fertilizer, and looks like some stuff is respawning. So I'm going to see if I can shoot this guy and keep this area safe. We already had another spider that was getting shot by the turrets. Where is he? Looks like we took down a mantis too on the way. Great. I love those turrets. They make life so much easier. So let's see if we can get back up and get that banana yellow one. I really like the color on that guy. But while we're here, we may as well grab this guy. Such a cool looking little bug. I really like that. And I'm going to grab this mantis too. They are definitely helpful. As much chitin as I can possibly get will be incredibly helpful. Oh, looks like he's got some stuff in here. Oh, hey, that whip is really going to come in handy later. So, looks like he ate a nice little survivor and left that behind for us. So, let's see if that beetle is still taming and still alive. That's going to be the big part, but it's really dangerous out here. And let's see, is he there? Yes, great. A giant, bright banana yellow thing, that would be him. And perfect. He only needed one more. He kept some of his taming gauge, and we are going to get him back here. So, a lot of people don't realize this, but dung beetles don't actually eat poop. You need to keep spoiled meat in their inventory or they'll actually starve to death. So they only convert the poop into fertilizer, just like real life. They don't actually eat it. But they'll convert it into fertilizer and oil. So we actually need to have a source of spoiled meat on these guys. But you'll notice they've got a little feeding trough icon on them, and they've actually got a huge source of hundreds of spoiled meat in my feeding trough because we've got, you know, like 1,000 fish meat constantly spoiling in there. So these guys will never have problems with food. Now, I'm making sure each one has multiple stacks of droppings. I'm just kind of spreading them out between the different beetles so they can all work on them evenly. It'll be a lot more efficient that way. I'm also naming them Dung 1 through 4 so that whenever I'm about to take off on my raft, I can just check to make sure I've got 1 through 4 sitting here. These things are escape artists, so they will often just glitch out of the cage and land on the ground, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. But yeah, that's pretty much all we need to know. So they are all set. They will be producing tons of fertilizer and oil. And thanks for watching. Tune in next time, and like and subscribe if you liked this. Thanks so much for watching our video from the Ark Survival Guide. This is an amazing game, and it's sometimes really hard to learn how to survive, but we are dedicated to teaching you how to not just survive, but how to thrive and have lots of fun on this amazing game. So we have a series for just a Let's Play, so you can watch how we've conquered this vast open world. And we also have a guide series with specific guides on how to do certain things that are a little bit more confusing or difficult on this game. So be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We are constantly creating new videos for you to enjoy, so you can travel through your journey on Ark with us and learn how to do everything you need to know to survive in this game. So thanks for watching, and we will continue to bring you great content that is suitable for the entire family, except maybe the occasional dinosaur poop. What can you do? This is Ark. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon on the next video.